Hello YouTube and fellow preppers, I am Geordie Prepper. In this video I'm going to be giving you some battery discharge tips and techniques that I use to condition and get the best out of my batteries. What you see in front of you here is a selection of the batteries that I use. I use three types: AAAs, AA's and 18650 batteries, and over the years that I've been using them I've kind of honed my technique into discharging them and recharging them. We're just going to cover discharging in this video. But basically whenever you get the batteries that you purchase, you should spend some time conditioning the batteries and get into the habit of discharging them and recharging them at a constant rate. And for rechargeable batteries, the best way is to discharge at a very low milliamp hours and recharge at the lowest that you can, and this will ensure that you get the best out of the batteries. So I'll cover it from smallest battery size to highest. So what I have here is just a XX Eneloop battery, AAA. These are really good batteries, and the specified milliamp hour on here is 900 milliamp hours, but I typically get about 950 plus out of these. Eneloops are really good at giving you more than what you paid for. I also have a different type of Eneloops in here. This is just the Go Zero Guide Plus 10, and it's the unit that you use with the solar panels, and at the minute it's the unit that I use to discharge my AAA Eneloops. And how I do it is that it has a light on it, and this light is obviously extremely low power usage, but what it does do, and the double X's that I just showed you, these were in the unit for over a week discharging, and I've just recharged them. But what it does is it discharges the energy from the batteries at a very slow rate, and then what you want to do is recharge them at the lowest rate that you can. And the lowest one that I've got right now is using the Technoline BL700, and that recharges them at 200 milliamp hours. The next battery size up would be your AA's that I use, and the good thing about the Technoline BL700 is that it does have a discharge function, and for discharging AA's, I would at 100 milliamp hours, that's a perfectly low discharge rate. Typically it'll take about between 2 days and 3 days to discharge some AA batteries, more towards the 3 days, because these just hold so much milliamp hours in them. I mean, it's stated here on them, on these ones, that it's 1900 milliamp hours, but I typically get about 2250 milliamp hours out of these ones, so they do hold a lot of juice. Discharging them slowly and then recharging them at the slowest rate that you can helps to condition your batteries also, and it means that you can get the maximum amount of usage out of the batteries. The next tip I've got for you is for 18650 batteries. The ones that I would recommend is these ones. I've temporarily forgotten the name of the manufacturer, but these are like literally the best 18650s that I've ever came across. Panasonic, they actually are. They're made in Japan. They're just absolutely awesome. The amount of power that you can get out of these is just incredible. They're obviously unprotected, because you don't want to use protected cells in torches, because if the protection circuit trips, then it cuts out the power completely from the battery. So never ever use protected cells in torches. Now, a good technique that I use for discharging these at a low rate is to just buy a Chinese torch. As long as it has like multiple options for brightness, just put the battery in. I've got a battery discharging in here 5 days now, so it's quite a low beam, but it does stay at a constant level. So I mean, you can put one of these 18650 batteries into a cheapy Chinese torch at the lowest setting, and you'll get a week or two of good light that you can use. It's almost like the moonlight setting on like a through night light. This is perfectly usable in the dark. But what it does do is it discharges the battery at a low rate. That's another Panasonic battery that I have in here. Using a cheapy Chinese torch, it discharges the battery at a very low rate, but it also doesn't, use up the lifespan of a good torch that you're going to use and stuff hits the fan. So to discharge batteries, you need to find a way to do it at the lowest rate possible. The lowest rate possible I'm using at the minute is using the Guide 10 Plus light on there. It's not a light that I'm going to use in an emergency, so I don't really care if it goes out. If I do find some other cheapy torch which I can use for triple A's, then or if I can discharge 2 or 4 at a time. That was the other advantage to using this, is that I can discharge 4 slowly. These will be in here for over a week discharging, and then I'll charge them up. For double A's, I just use the BL700 because it does have a discharge function. And yeah, for 18650s, I just use a torch. There are lots of advantages to doing this. Lithium-ion batteries, which are these 18650s, and nickel metal hydride batteries, which are typically your Eneloops. They work better, and if you condition them right, you'll get a much better use out of the appliance that they're used in, especially if you have like a through night which has like a moonlight setting, or if you keep your torches on the lowest setting possible, then you're going to find that they actually last for a very, very long time. This obviously helps you and stuff hits the fan. Obviously temperatures are going to have a factor, but if you're in a bugging situation, the temperature is going to be at a pretty constant level, and it's not going to go down to a level which is going to affect the batteries too much. But if you recharge them at high milliamp hours, and then you have your flashlight on at a very high output, whilst you've got the batteries in there, then you're going to find that the life of the batteries is very low, even if you do have some very good batteries like the Panasonics here. So that's my tips for this video. Discharge your batteries at a very low rate. Even if it takes over a week to discharge the batteries, that doesn't matter. You can just put them somewhere and just leave them, That's what I do. I just set some reminders on my calendar on my computer, and then find a good battery charger for recharging the batteries. And in the next video I'll go through some charging techniques, and I'll show you the functions of some of the chargers that I use. So this is Geordie Prepper. I hope these tips have been useful for you. If you condition your batteries a couple of times using these techniques and you recharge them, do some tests. That's what I did. Just do some tests and see what you get out of the equipment once you've discharged them and conditioned them. And you should do this as soon as you can when you get the batteries, by the way. as soon as you get the batteries, just start conditioning them in this way, and you'll find that the life of the batteries is just way beyond what they are now. So I'll go through some recharging techniques in the next video. This is Geordie Prepper saying be safe and be prepared.